Hey everybody, my name is Kartik Subramaniam. I'm a real estate entrepreneur here in Southern California. I'm the founder of a very large real estate education company. Absolutely love what I do. I have a passion for the business. I'm happy to have found it. Follow my journey here on YouTube. Hey everybody, Kartik Subramaniam here, just in front of a property that I just rehabbed and I got it in escrow now, so I'm flipping this property. Wanted to take you through the process of how I chose this property, how I came about getting it, the cost to rehab, how much money I'm potentially gonna make. I wanna walk you through that whole process. So if this is something you wanna do, you can learn from my journey here and hopefully make some money for yourself. So you might have seen my last YouTube video where I was talking about potentially buying that property over on Arrowhead. Now, while I was in the process of negotiating on that property, I called a couple of local agents here in Barstow to get their advice as to what this property might sell for, the property in Arrowhead, that is. Now, one of the agents that I was talking to about the Arrowhead property said, hey, if you're an investor, I have another deal that you might even be able to make more money on here on Lance. You should check that property out. So I drove by this property, toured the inside, absolutely loved it, and I thought that I could actually make more money on this property than on Arrowhead. So I was actually glad Arrowhead didn't work out. I could put that money and resources and time into Lance, and that's exactly what I did. Now the lesson really is that the more people you talk to in life, the more people you communicate with, the more opportunity you'll ultimately have. And this flip was a great example of that. I just called people, talked to people, had a hot lead for this, ended up writing an offer, closed it, and here we are. Now, one thing that's really important to remember about every area is that every area has its distinctive things that make it unique and things that are buying points for a potential purchaser of a home. Now in Barstow, people really don't want a lot of grass, candidly, because of excessive water costs. So you can see we have drought-resistant landscaping up front. I put all new hard rock out front, and that takes time. You know, it might not look like it's a big deal, but it takes time. In the backyard, I basically cleared out all the weeds from the property, making it basically a blank canvas for whoever might want to buy it. Now the focal point for this property really is this kitchen and the great room behind me. You can see all the natural light that comes in through these windows that look out to the backyard as well as behind me here, and I really wanted to lighten this particular room up. We did put new flooring in the kitchen and in the entry area. I also redid all the kitchen cabinets. We sanded them down and painted them. I also put brand new granite countertops in there to give it a really, really modern look and feel. I also put all new hardware on the kitchen cabinets. So I knew that in order to make a profit on this house, I really needed to focus on the kitchen and in this great room in order to maximize the money and keep the cost down. So now that you know how I came upon this property, let me tell you everything that we did inside. So I painted the front room and the back room and all the bedrooms. So the entire inside walls and ceilings were repainted. The outside was also repainted. Oddly, properties in Barstow, I know it's really hot out here. A lot of properties in Barstow don't actually have air conditioning. They actually run on these things called swamp coolers. So a couple of we have two swamp coolers on the roof of this house. One of the swamp coolers was leaking, I had to repair that. There was also new toilets that we put in and new vanities in each of the bathrooms. Now, just so you know what I did to the property and how much money I put in it, how I raised the money to do it, and how much money I'm gonna make, I wanna be very open and transparent with everybody watching this video, because a lot of you guys watching are students of mine or are potential students, and you wanna know, well, how do I make money selling real estate? How do I make money flipping houses? Now, when you flip a home, everything, all the money is really made in the purchase. When you flip a house, you really gotta look at this from the philosophy of, hey, if this project were to go sideways and I needed to liquidate it today, can I make money today reselling it? Don't worry about the rehab. You gotta be able to get out at all stages of the process. Now, this property I purchased for $83,750. I put about $12,000 into it, fixing it up. A lot of the money I borrowed to basically finance the purchase from a friend of mine who does lending for these sorts of things, and I had to pay him money. You'll see that here on the screen. Plus I paid 5% commission to the real estate agent on the way out. What that means, of course, is that normally in the MLS, agents will offer out like 2.5 or 3%. I offered 5% commission on this property just to make sure that all the agents in town were super motivated to show this property. I also paid 3% of the buyer's closing costs here, and you can see how much money I put into it on the screen. You can see the profit that I'll make on this property here. And really the lesson here is that when you work with properties in this price range, notice in percentage terms, you can make a lot of money if you properly purchase the property from the beginning. I have a great friend of mine who's also a partner of mine in a couple other businesses. He flips homes in like Bel Air, Beverly Hills, Hollywood Hills. He buys smaller houses, fixes them up, adds on square footage and resells them. That's not a game that I really like to play, mainly because it's extremely capital intensive, number one. And number two, there's not a lot of buyers out there for like a $4 million property. This property I sold for $159,900. Let me ask you this. How many buyers do you think there are for a $160,000 home? There's a lot out there, right? So now I know Barstow, you might argue, well, how many houses in Barstow actually sell? But the point is the price is right. The median home price in California is like $570,000 today. This is an extremely affordable option. So somebody that might have otherwise rented can actually realize the dream of home ownership by buying this particular property. So I hope this helped you understand maybe how to find property. Really the lesson is you'll never know where you're going to find a good flip deal, but the more people you talk to, the more you put yourself out there, the more likely it is you'll come across a deal. And don't be scared if it's in an area that you're not totally familiar with. Seek the counsel and seek the help of people that are smarter than you in that area. If you want to know more, if you want to connect with me online, I'd love to get to know you. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram. My information's on the screen. If you're interested in taking real estate classes, I'd love to get to know you and help you through that process. Our number is on the screen as well. We'll catch you guys on the next video.